I'm gagged by the Nuggets firing their head coach, Mike Malone, 3 games before the playoffs. And let me tell you my takeaways. Okay, number one, this was a humiliation ritual. They fired their head coach and their general manager, the people who are supposed to be running the organization, 3 days before the most important part of the season. That was to embarrass them. And then to do this really strange sit down for the Denver Nuggets social media with this guy in athletic shorts, spread eagle, being like, oh, I know it's so hard for you to make these tough decisions right before the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets are owned by a very powerful family that also owns the LA Rams, the Colorado Avalanche, Arsenal Football Club. This was very smart and very strategic. I worked for an NBA team's social media team, and I know how much these social media teams are set up to gas and market the team. He did this so that he could control the narrative. He made it sound as though there were some really toxic situations going on behind the scenes that none of us quite know about that caused him to have to fire Michael Malone and Calvin Booth right now and not at the end of the season. The only way I can make sense of this is that the beef between Calvin and Michael Malone had to be so bad that they had to get rid of them both right now because it was becoming toxic for the locker room. Speaking of which, Nikola Jokic definitely knew that this was happening. You don't pay a man $276 million to be the face of your team and then fire his head coach that's been his coach his entire time in America, okay? And then not tell him. And according to reports, not only did they tell him, there was no protest. So Jokic didn't really want him there that bad either. But knowing Jokic, he was probably like, this is work, this is job. Why do I care if you fire the manager, the coach? It has nothing to do with me, I don't care. 4 out of the last 6 coaches that have won an NBA championship have been fired. One of them being Steve Kerr, who's untouchable in Golden State, and one of them being Joe Mazzulla, who's the youngest coach in the league and just became their coach. So time's a ticking probably. This is a time in the season where you don't want any media distractions, and they've got a big media distraction on their hands. My biggest question is, they were about to pay that man $12 million a year or something like that and his contract extension. Do they still have to pay him? Because these NBA teams keep firing coaches and still paying them. I used to applaud the Nuggets for being one of the most patient franchises in the NBA and winning a championship the right way. But now it seems like they're just like everybody else, getting rid of people right after winning. I will never understand that. I feel like firing a coach has become a bandage for whatever bigger issues are going on in an NBA organization, and they play the players so much that they don't want to ever blame them.